They're dropping tracking tags onto whales from drones now? Do you like whales? Of course you do. They're amazing, but they're mysterious. Where do they go, and what do they do when we're not watching, and why? These are the questions that are answered, or attempted to be answered, by animal tagging. This is where someone places a tag on an animal that uniquely identifies it, kind of like a name tag. That way when someone else spots that tag, we know it's the same animal and where it went. People started by placing a ring on a... what? It's hard to 3D model a bird, okay? They're a weird shape. Just watch the video. People started by placing a ring on a bird's leg, but that requires someone to spot the bird later on. But what if there isn't a spotter at that moment? Maybe they're on holiday. What if the bird goes somewhere where there aren't any people? Maybe the bird is on holiday. All that location data would be invisible to us. The solution is a more modern approach of tagging with a tiny computer that can log things like GPS location, acceleration, and even video. This way we can see where that animal is going. Here's what that data looks like on a map. This is thousands of species, including whales. However, this is a story about how things are getting a bit better for whales in this area. So, what are they getting better from? The tags themselves used to have barbs to make them stick, a brutal practice that has fallen out of favour but hasn't stopped completely, and even killed one whale in 2016 called L95 after the wound the tag caused led to a fungal infection that killed the whale. So it's no surprise that there's a push towards tags that use suction cups and are temporary. And so, in a similar vein, they used to apply the tags with a big pole, but that means that you have to get a boat right up close to the whale. So the newest thing is that they're dropping these tags onto whales from a drone, which is good because it means that you don't have to get a big boat up close, which lowers the possibility of an actual collision and is less noisy and stressful for the whale in general. So what do we actually learn from these tags, and is it worth it? Whales sometimes get stranded or beached, and there are many different causes, but it was noticed in the Bahamas in 1963 that up until then, most strandings were for individual whales washing up on a beach and getting stuck. After 1963, there were mass stranding events where multiple whales at the same time would wash up on the same beach and get stuck. What changed in 1963? We started using powerful sonar. Toothed whales, like the beaked whales being studied here, have a similar method of echolocation. Clicks are produced by a structure located in the head called the phonic lips. The sound then moves through the melon, part of the head filled with fat that allows the sound to be concentrated like a lens, and then emanates from the forehead. The sound emitted bounces off objects in the ocean and returns to the whale, which captures them not with external ears like our own, but with its lower jaw. The toothed whale hears with its jaw, which contains the same type of acoustic fat that is present in its melon. The sound waves then travel from the jaw to the inner ear, allowing the whale to translate this information into where things are. In short, whales use sound to socialise, hunt for prey, and communicate in general, but they can't do that if they're being deafened by sonar. It was thought for a long time that sonar negatively impacted whales because they use sound so extensively, but research efforts in 2010 proved the link. They used data from whale tags to show that when sonar is used, the whales tend to dive for longer, they make less attempts to browse for and capture prey, and generally change their behaviour up to 100 kilometers away from where the sonar is being used. So it's not great news so far for the whales, but strap in, there's another bit. This study and others like it were used in evidence in 2 court cases that resulted in a court judgment that the US Navy had to curtail its use of sonar in areas that are commonly used by the whales, which is a great step forward. It's not perfect, but it's better than nothing. This is, of course, not a story about how tagging whales with drones leads to better treatment of those whales. It's just about how developing more compassionate technology like the temporary suction cup tags replacing the stabby ones, contributes to our understanding of sea life, which can result in better treatment of those animals. And dropping in the tags from drones, whilst it might seem cool and flashy, it's another step towards getting noisy, annoying boats away from the whales. You might be sat there thinking, this is all well and good, but is there any chance that we could just leave them alone? Just take all the suction cup stuff and the drones and the stabby things especially, put them in a box and then leave that box over there. I think that that's probably going to be the direction that these things go. We'll get more and more hands off until we eventually manage to leave them alone and just watch them from a distance, from satellites or from drones that are far away enough that they can't hear them. And that'll be for the best. Speaking of watching from a distance, have you subscribed to the channel? If not, it's free. Thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye!